How y'all doing? All right, first of all, my name's Daniel. I got a couple of blogs on here and stuff. Long story short, I did 2 tours to Iraq. I did 6 years at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. I'm a Purple Heart awardee, and there's more on my background and my military career if you go to my homepage. But I wanted to comment on this dude. First of all, you could totally tell that this dude lives with his mom. And he's sitting there and he's cracking on Jank from theyoungturks.com, and not only does he not have any facts at the very beginning, he's like, well, Liz Cheney, well, he called him a horrible human being and a psychotic, and he lists like 3 or 4 other things, and he goes, okay, well, maybe she didn't say those exact words, but that's pretty much what she said. Well, don't quote someone and try to make your point off of someone's quote and then turn around and say, okay, she really didn't say that. Man, all right, you should definitely work for Fox News. You've been watching too much Bill O'Reilly. And the reason that Jank seems like he hates conservatives as a whole is because conservatives have controlled our Congress from 1994 till 2006, right? That's when the worst shit happened. 1994 to 2006, right? That's when the worst shit happened. So why the fuck wouldn't we hate Republicans? Republicans are the biggest hypocrites ever. And not because Democrats don't do the same stuff Republicans do, but Republicans are the ones that build their base off of we are moral and we are Christian, and that's how their sheepish fucking Republican supporters vote for them. They don't even have any idea what their voting record is. They don't have any idea what their military record is, and most Republicans' military record is non-combat officer in either the Air Force, or they had deferments, or they completely dodged the draft. So it's just another typical conservative blogger coming up here with no facts, just pew 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 pew, throw shit at the wall and see what it sticks. And people expect us to take them seriously. All right, man, it just pisses me off to no end, dude. Tell you what, dude, when you get some facts, all right, and you have something to back them up, then come on there. First of all, remember the 2 black dudes that shot the soldier? Well, guess what? He was called a terrorist. He shot a soldier. That's all he did. Shot one person. And he said he would have killed more people if he could. You don't think that white supremacist in the museum would have killed more people if he hadn't been shot and shit? Yes. So, and the definition of terrorism is someone who commits an act of terror. Hello, you don't think people inside that museum were terrorized? You don't think that? All right, dude. Look, dude, I bet if I hid your fucking cheesy pups, you fat fuck, you'd get terrorized. Man, people like that piss me off so bad because it's ignorant people like them who are just too stupid to get a library card and go read a fucking, go read a couple newspapers in the library and actually do some fucking research. Get online and do some fucking research and come to an informed opinion. Instead, they just watch, 15 minutes of Fox News and get their little talking points, just like Christians. They go to church and they get their weekly talking points. Well, Christians go to church only like once a month or once every 6 months, but they get their little week talking points, and then they go out there and throw them out, and they get shot down right away. Republicans and conservatives and religious nuts are really all in the same group. I'm not saying that all religious people are nuts, but you don't really find any religious nuts. You don't have any Democrats bombing abortion clinics. Mind you, when they bombed those clinics, they not only killed the baby, they killed the mother, and they killed the people inside as well. But God said, thou shalt not kill, but it's okay for us to kill people with the gas chamber, and it's okay for Bush to go over there and lie about war and send me off to 2 deployments to go commit genocide against the Iraqi people. And yes, I said genocide, because killing 500,000 civilians when all they were doing at the time we invaded was civil war, that's against our signed treaties. According to the Geneva Convention, civil war, we cannot get involved in other countries due to civil war, even if it's genocide within its own country. Saddam was killing thousands, tens of thousands of his own citizens. There was nothing we could do about it. It wasn't until he went to Kuwait that we could do something. He didn't do shit. So we not only illegally invaded a country, but Bush sent me over there to commit genocide. And that is a very bland thing to say, but if any other country in the world, and by definition, illegally invaded another country and killed over 500,000 of its civilians, what else do you think what would we call it? What would you call that? We killed more Iraqis than Saddam killed Kuwaitis. So does no one see the correlation there and the irony that we went in and invaded Iraq during the Gulf War because he attacked and killed a couple 100,000 Kuwaitis? Actually, I don't even have the number. I know it wasn't 500,000, but I'm gonna look it up, and then I'm gonna come back to this blog and I'll probably correct it and give you the exact number. But it certainly wasn't 500,000. So went in with an illegal war, and not we as in Americans, I'm talking about select, the dirty dozen. I'm talking about Bush, Cheney, Rumsfeld, the people that fabricated evidence. And when I say fabricated, I mean like the top Iraqi official that met in Prague with the Al-Qaeda member, the continual statements that George Tenet said about Iraq and Al-Qaeda having a relationship, and that he continually stated that from George Tenet and completely took it out of context. George Tenet in his statement was saying that their relationship was hostile at best, talking about Al-Qaeda and Saddam. They were looking at ways that they could take advantage of one another, extort one another, in other words. So they were enemies, but of course he totally took that out of context and repeated it dozens of times. And not only that, but they fabricated evidence. Those pictures that they supposedly had, the intelligence pictures of where they had little circles and it said, okay, here's the missile, here's the missile, here's the missile. Those pictures were not even of Iraq. Like, they did the research on it, went back on MapQuest, and they found out that those pictures weren't even of the country Iraq. So, you know that they just fucking fabricated this shit. And then they went back and said, oh, well, the UK, the British, we had multiple other countries that confirmed our intelligence. You stupid motherfucker. Everybody gets their intelligence, all our allies, from us. We don't get our intelligence from them because they're not reliable. You really trust the British and their intelligence? Really? Come on, man. So this shit just pisses me off because it's stupid motherfuckers like this fat chunk of shit that just has absolutely no grasp of the consequences of what their vote can do. I have a grasp of the consequences of what their vote do. I was too young to vote. I was too young to vote in 2000, and I was in Iraq in 2004. So you can't blame me for the Bush shit. But these people go into the booths, and they, in their mind, they say the one-liner stupid shit. He's a Christian, and I'm going to vote with the Christian. You really think Bush is a Christian? Really? Really? Whose pastor, mind you, got caught sucking dick with a male prostitute and doing meth in a hotel. His spiritual guide did. So that's the guy that he would go to. And not to mention, Bush even said that he felt it was God's plan for him to destroy Al-Qaeda. Really? And he called it a crusade on TV. We're fighting an enemy who thinks they're in a holy war, and Bush gets on TV and says, this crusade of mine. Crusade? Really? That's how fucking stupid you are? And these are what these religious nuts do. And mind you, these religious nuts, look at all of them. And like Rumsfeld ain't religious, even though he put in the security and intelligence reports religious, scriptures. Damn, they finally showed it. The intelligence reports that he was giving them during the beginning of the Iraq War had scriptures that were saying like, "And God commanded thee to smite down God's enemy" and shit like that. And it was just total off-the-wall stuff. And Rumsfeld fed this to him. And you know Bush was back there because you know Bush didn't know what the fuck was going on. You know, as soon as 9/11 happened, Bush was like, and it's obvious. Bush said, "Cheney, you run the show." Bush didn't know shit. Man, you ask Bush how many soldiers had died while he was president, how many U.S. soldiers died under his command, he wouldn't be able to tell you. Fucking 3 months ago, Condoleezza Rice didn't even get the number right of how many Americans died in the World Trade Center. Remember whenever she took 735 words to answer a third grader's question about torture? Yeah, she said there was like, she listed a specific number. It was like 3,100 something, and she was way fucking off. 45 or 47 of them weren't even Americans. She was off by like 100 and something dead Americans. That's how much they give a fuck. But we cannot let these religious people in our lead anymore. We cannot. We have Republican senators quoting scripture as a definitive reason why global warming cannot exist, because it says in the Bible, and this is what the Republicans came up and said. He listed a scripture that said only God, essentially the scripture said only God can bring about the end of the earth, and only in his time will it happen. And he quoted that. Okay, well, I guess we can just light off all the nukes and just detonate all the nukes and we'll test your theory, right? Because technically, if what you're saying is true, then man can't destroy the earth. So if we went and everybody on the earth pushed our nuke button all at once, then according to your plan, if God really has control, then the nukes won't go off, right? No, you stupid motherfucker. You're stupid, and I can't even say naiveness. Your willing, ignorant, sheep-ass behavior is what killed you stupid religious nuts that said, oh, I want to get a beer with Bush, and he's a Christian, let's vote for him. All you 40-plus, really, if you're really 40-plus, at least minor to deep-seated racism, white kind of power, really the vibe that Bush put off, you're the one that voted for him, and you're the one that got 43-plus hundred of my buddies killed. So, religious nuts, don't go. Don't go to the voting booth anymore.